So I hope you finished page 3 and got them all right. I hope you also noticed that I didn't expand all the product rule questions. Why didn't I expand them? Well, if I was going to expand, I could have just expanded before I started, and then it wouldn't be a product rule question. So why would I do this? Well, I would love to do this if the question said evaluate when x equals 3. I could plug x equals 3 into this, and then it would just be a calculator question. So if the question gave me an x value and said find the derivative at x equals something, I wouldn't have to expand anything. So I could skip the expanding. I could do the product rule. I could plug x equals 1 into this and skip all the expanding. So hopefully that's all I have to do if I have to do a product rule question, or that. Now I'm going to let you try these questions kind of on your own. And these solutions are up on Schoology too. But here's an example of a question where you have to do the product rule because I don't have an equation for f of x. So I say here are two functions that are being multiplied, so it's a product rule question. I label the first function f, find its derivative. I label the second function g, find its derivative, and then I do the product rule. So f primed g plus g primed f. Again, all this stuff in gray is rough work, and again, f of x is the official f of x in the question. This f is my label for the first function. It's not official, it's rough work. This g is my label for the second function, which happens to be f of x. If this bothers you, and it bothers some people, you could call this a, you could call this b, and call this a primed, and call this b primed, and then say the product rule is a prime b plus b primed a. I'm using f and g because that's what the textbook uses. If you read 100 textbooks, 60 of them will use the letters f and g, and 40 of them will use the letters u and v, and I'm not crazy about them because they look like the same letter, so up to you. If you want to use A and B, don't be traditional. I love it. Fight the power. I'm going to let you try A, B, and C on your own, but I want to do D with you because something fun happens. I look at question D, and I say that's a quotient. That's one function divided by another. So quotient rule. The top of that function is f. The bottom of that function is g. G prime is easy. To take the derivative of this, it's two functions being multiplied. So the derivative of that is f primed times g plus g primed, times f. There's f, g, f prime times g plus g prime times f. So I started this question with quotient rule. There's f, there's g. But to take the derivative of this, I needed product rule. And so your first example of calcception, where one rule hides inside another rule. And so k primed, this derivative, is equal to f primed times g. And I wrote that wrong the first time there, so that's g. Didn't matter for g primed. F prime times g minus g primed times f. Over g squared. And now here's what I was talking about earlier. I could try and expand this and simplify it and collect like terms, but life is short, and the question just wants me to find the derivative at x equals 4. So I'm going to plug in x equals 4. So I had to do all that without an equation for f. So all I knew was that f was a function, and the derivative of f is f primed. Whoops. I'm plugging in 4. It's not x cubed anymore. It's 4 cubed. Now, I would be stuck here, but back at the start of the question, it told me what you get when you plug 4 into f, and what you get when you plug 4 into f primed. So let's use that. F of 4 is 7. So this becomes 7 plus negative 2 times 4. 4 cubed minus 1 is 63. Minus 3 times 4 squared, 3 times 16 is 48. And that's 4 times 7, because f of 4 is 7, all over. So because I had a number to plug in, this question becomes just calculator work now. That square bracket is negative 1, so negative 1 times 63 minus 48 times 28 all over 63 to the power 2, not 3. And I spotted that mistake because I knew the quotient rule has x squared on the bottom. Put that in your calculator. And ask your calculator if that reduces. And it does. Okay. So I did the trickiest one with you. The other ones are solved for you on Schoology. Have a look. Make sure everything makes sense to you. And now you know 3 rules. You know the derivative. Give me my little chart here. You know the power rule says the derivative of x to the power n is nx to the n minus 1. You know the derivative of f times g is f primed g plus g primed times f. And you know the derivative of f over g is f primed g minus g primed f over g squared. We've got one more rule, and then you have the 4 rules that you need memorized for our next test.